place of their brain and probably in a self-interested way, which is I'd rather be a bystander than a person on the train. In self-interest today versus the logic and educated Germans that I know, I mean, America is people who don't care about you or your emotions or your grandchildren or anything else. They care about their bank account, and they've learned that eating wins in their case. It's not the system that we wanted, but we have to say that our Constitution is vulnerable for the government to elect a monarch, and we've done that. Yeah, yes, it's talk about Marshall's history class about the unitary executive. We've been on a slow march, but all of the above. Trump hijacked that party. Some of those people are still there. Many of them are especially in the political class, are still incumbents, and they're still writing incentives to get them there. But just like Congress people, inside trade. It's not part of our political line. But the same people that are supposed to regulate a democracy are supposed to vote in a democracy. And people that are supposed to be subject to the courts should honor the court's decisions. But that's broken. So if you've got people who deny facts and deny reality, it's more what's in it with them. Why are they not open to just facts? Facts.
Yeah.
I want to yield to Yasi, but I just want to add two quick things. One is that I think it is quite truly human nature that we are sort of narcissistic and we're affected by what we feel like affects us directly. And I think that is part of the problem, is we still don't have enough people seeing that they are, and the people who are their neighbors are being affected. But I wanted to say one other thing, which is that when I have these kinds of conversations, and when television first happened, I mean, many years ago, I remember watching
Hello? Is this thing working?
I think it was maybe Serbia.
Hello?
I don't remember who was fighting, but I remember thinking, oh, good. Nazi Germany could never happen again because now we can see it in real time. Because I, of course, grew up going, how did this happen? How could they not know? And I was like, oh, okay, but guess what? I wasn't sitting there watching what was happening in Syria, seeing that they were poisoning their own people, because it didn't affect me. So, we have this beautiful story in our history of Jewish people of what we call the righteous Gentiles or the righteous Christians, I don't know which it is, that when you go to Auschwitz, or when you go to, when you go to Yad Vashem in Israel, which is the memorial to the Holocaust, we honor the righteous Germans who took and hid people. I mean, we know the famous story of Anne Frank. And so then I have to ask myself the question, would I hide an immigrant who was in danger? Would I, if I was going through the airport and I saw somebody pull aside a brown or black person and be in some way interrogating them, would I stand there or would I walk away? And I think those questions ultimately have to start with ourselves.
Elle, you are brilliant. That is exactly why I'm holding this room. I wish I could do more. I wouldn't mind being shot for my country. I wish we had more people here. Steve, I see you here, and I would love to know what you think. Now, before people listen to Steve, he gave one of his sons to this country. So Steve has a right, by virtue of the sacrifice he has made, to have an opinion, even if I disagree with it. Steve, what do you think?
Well, yeah, and you talk about the things I've heard discussed here, and I'm not trying to go at anyone specifically because I hear this all the time. But this assumption that somehow everybody that voted Republican is moronic, and everyone that voted Republican somehow is gave belief of their senses to reality and facts. It's much more nuanced and it's much more complicated than that. You can break it down if that's the way you want to see it. I mean, go ahead, but it's an unrealistic view they've done and what motivates people. You know, some people can say we've seen policies that was antithetical to everything that we believe in, that everything that we stand for, and we can't go there anymore. For instance, if I was in a department store and a man dressed up like a woman wanted to go in the bathroom after my wife had entered the bathroom, I'd have real issues with that. Now, a lot of people just slough that off and say that's no big deal. But these are components. When people seen our southern border just being overrun with migration waves after migration waves, just pummeling our southern border in complete chaos, that became a motivation.
Wait, the bathrooms or the borders? I know you talked about both.
Well, I mean,
Why don't you pick up? It's hard to follow.
I'm trying to articulate the facets of what may drive someone to vote for or against something.
Okay, so
Now, you know,
Jane makes a fair point. You have to stay on one thing. If you want to pick bathrooms, pick bathrooms. If you want to pick borders, pick borders. But I think it's hard to engage in a discussion when you have a shotgun as opposed to a rifle mentality. It's kind of the way I feel about tariffs. So would you like to talk about a man going into a woman's bathroom, or would you like to talk about borders?
well, Alan, what I was trying to explain to you is it's like the many facets of what a complicated decision tree in any subject has many points to it. That's what I'm trying to articulate. And all I hear from people when they talk about Republicans and what may be motivated them is they're just out of touch with reality, when it may just be, it could just be that we have a disagreement about how to construct a society and what becomes palatable as a social compact. That's what governments are. They're a social compact between people. That's why we have, right. That's why we have such a division here. And if your starting point is that my disagreement is with someone that's lost touch with reality, it's awful hard to negotiate.
Well, Steve, let's just see if we
How
can have
about
some
the topic at hand?
Wait. Let's just start with some facts. I'm perfectly willing to entertain both of the ladies here, but I want to see if Steve agrees on a couple of facts. Was Donald Trump a convicted felon? Did he get 34 felonies?
That was a misuse of judicial power in a way that was unbelievable.
According to you, Steve,
Well,
according to you and according to Fox News. But these were...
No, Alan, let me correct you a little bit. Because that's not me and that's not Fox News. I've heard a couple of attorneys and U.S. federal attorneys that has articulated the subject.
You can always find, Steve, someone who disagrees with a judicial decision. Do you agree that we need to live by the rules of a court?
Yeah, but here's, well, hold it. That's there. You know, Madison and Jefferson talked about the misuse of judicial powers when our country was first formed. James Madison and Thomas Jefferson, two of the most important figures in the founding of this country, talked about it.
Let me.
Well, it's relevant.
I'm trying to summarize it because this is just going to go on. You don't agree with the decision that the court made, and you find people who align with your view that they don't agree with the decision that the court made, but you still do believe in the American courts when they suit your opinion. Is that right?
No, I look at each court case and analyze it on its merit.
And
That's
your
it.
opinion.
And if the merits justify,
What did you say? opinion, Steve, is superior to the opinion of the jury that was justly sat. Let me ask you, so we're not going to agree on this. Let's just agree that we're not going to agree.
No, we're not.
Okay, that's fine. And I'm eager to maintain what common ground we can find. Do you agree that it is wrong for this Democratic House member to be held captive in the Texas House?
I'm not sure which one you're referring to.
I'm referring to the woman in the article who is a Texas representative. Her only crime was getting elected to the Texas State House and refusing to be part of a quorum. Do you agree that that's a reason to hold an American captive?
I don't know Texas law well enough, or the House rules that are involved here to articulate one way or the other. I plead ignorance on the facts.
Thank you. Jane, go ahead. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to cut you off. I just wanted to get Steve on record here.
Oh, no, it wasn't me. It was Susan.
Oh, Sue,
I'm
go ahead.
sorry, it was me, and I apologize if mine came off mic earlier.
No,
I
it's
just
okay.
want to say that what I'm hearing is a bunch of denying, deflecting, and the moving of goalposts. And I'm with you, Alan. You know, I hear it, but I don't know how to get around it because the questions are not being answered. When you ask a yes or no, you get, well, it's more complicated than just that until they want a direct answer. So it's the most confusing. I've never had such a difficult time having a critical thinking argument, discussion. It's not even an argument, it's a discussion. Because it's gaslighting, it's moving the goalposts, it's saying that things are not happening the way they are, and playing this what if game. And what about? For example, we're in this room asking a very simple question. Somebody is being held without their will in a chamber and is being given one of two options. Now, those are facts. They're not my facts. They're not your facts. They're the facts that are being presented to us as the outside world. Yet, we're still finding people coming in here telling us that what we're seeing is not what we're seeing. And if we are seeing it, then maybe this is the way it might play out. And that's the part of all of this that boggles me to the nth degree, that makes me say, where do we find the common ground? So
Can I ask you a question?
allow me to finish. So when Alan, I apologize to you and the rest of the room. Yes, I sound emotional, but I'm coming from a place of experience, understanding, research, and a lived experience from where I am. And I also want to say, you're talking to somebody that's on the front lines at Home Depot every morning, preventing the raise. You're talking to somebody who stops them on the front lines. So yes, I am out there doing the work, and I am putting my money where my mouth is. So when people come in here and start to say, it's either the bathroom or the border, and I'm like, come on. We're still at that argument when we've got people being arrested, sitting in a wheelchair without a leg. Come on. We need to start having a better discussion here, people.
Sue, I agree with you. And I want to be as respectful as I can to everybody on the stage. Steve did give one of his sons to this nation. How he can follow a leader who calls that son a loser is beyond me. It's absolutely beyond me. But I love Steve. And I believe that while he may have very confused thinking, while he may be a victim of watching too much Fox News, which is not reality, I do think he should have the opportunity to express his view. Would you be willing to let him ask you a question?
I have been in rooms with Steve way too many times in the critical thinking room. Honestly, I don't put my energy where I know it's not going to be well spent. Like I just got done saying, I'm out there on the front lines where I can make a difference. I can't make a difference there, so I will respect Steve from afar, and I will respect the service his son gave to our country. None of that was disrespect.
Thank you. That is
Could
beautiful.
I just interject something now?
You can interject it, but you can't ask her a question because she said she
Okay,
knows. So go ahead.
Okay, I don't care. I don't want to. Should any situation where someone has been arrested, should you have the full facts of the law before you analyze that situation? Or do I analyze a situation not knowing the charging document, not knowing Texas law that's involved in it? Are these not critical points to say, is this appropriate or inappropriate? Now, I work with the police every day. I'm a city councilman. I have to work with the police all the time. I have to analyze these things. If someone comes in and they're brought before our municipal judge, I have to make sure that our police department, when they're charging, are out doing the proper thing. I can't go on emotion. I have to know that, well,
Going
this
on
is
emotion
relevant.
right now, Steve.
This is
Emotion is not
relevant,
the
Jane.
problem.
Jane, the law is relevant, and the charging document is relevant. And if you don't know the particulars of the charging document and you don't know the law as it reads, you cannot analyze this situation properly. It's impossible.
But Steve, you don't really believe in the law because you're willing to let someone with 34 felonies, you support somebody with 34 felonies in spite of the fact that he was found by 12 jurors within our system. So you believe in the law when it's convenient to you, when it reflects your facts. But you basically just said that that was not a legitimate court case. I don't know how you decide that something isn't legitimate. And my view is not as important as yours because you're a city councilman, maybe. I mean, I think Anson is probably.
Alan, let me ask you a question. Can I ask you one question?
You can ask me a question. Not, the ladies have to be willing to.
Let me just ask you this sincere question. Have you ever heard of a jury case where you have 3 different charges and the jury is not instructed that they have to unanimously agree on any charge that they bring back as guilty? Isn't that a function of the jury system? There has to be unanimity. If you have a jury trial and you have one charge that has to be agreed upon and one of the jurors says no, the charge cannot stand. It's a hung jury. So why in this particular case, when the judge sent the jury to debate this, he did not instruct them that when they brought back a decision, it had to be brought back in unanimous agreement on a particular charge?
Steve, let's just try a different question because I think you are using a very specific to try to defeat a general argument, and I see you do this all the time. And I still love you and I still respect you, but answer this for me. Do you think a man with 34 felonies should ever be president of the United States?
Well, no, I don't.
Thank you. Let's leave that one. Let's leave that one there. The end. That's very good. Thank you, Steve. I really appreciate that answer. Okay, does anyone else want to say something?
Yeah, this is John. I'd like to say something.
Go ahead, Congressman.
Yeah, I mean, if you listen to Steve, he said, the social compact has been broken. And, if you listen to what you're saying and what that film producer says, Michael Moore, Trump's presidency was going to be the biggest FU to the establishment and to the government of all time. So, you're saying that the American people were willing to vote for a criminal with all these felonies and all these charges because they're that upset with their governance, with the government
John,
itself.
I'm not saying that. You're putting words in my mouth. I'll tell you what.
I'm trying to come together with a logical conclusion based on what I'm listening to.
Yes, but you just said I'm saying something that I'm not saying. You want to know what I believe happened in the 2024 election? America was unwilling to vote for a black female. It's that simple. The Bradley effect is still alive and well. That's why. It didn't have anything to do with a mandate on immigration. It sure as heck didn't have anything to do with imposing taxes on people illegally. It was a mandate or a function of the Bradley effect people could not imagine.
That's your projection. Steve and I and others
That's
may
my
have a
opinion.
different.
It's not a projection. It's an
Well,
opinion.
it's your opinion, but it's still considered a projection. You're projecting your opinion. I am projecting my opinion. You may not agree with my opinion.
Hey, can we, before we leave the Texas woman and Steve, can I jump in with something?
Please,
This is like a
please
very
do.
good conversation.
Please do.
Yeah, so the idea that we sort of don't know the facts enough to understand what's going on here, like if you work with law enforcement, like you understand like the different evidentiary standards that exist for taking different actions as a law enforcement officer, at least at some level, right? Like you must. So like I don't understand. Sorry, did I cut out for a second? I was getting a call.
No, we still have you.
Oh, you heard me. Okay, great. Okay, yeah. So like you know there's different evidentiary standards, and you also know that there has to be a law that is being applied, and that's not actually what's happening here. And it's like not a hard thing to look at. I mean, it's like trying to make an excuse for a police officer who pulled someone over because they thought they looked funny, or they don't think that someone like that should be driving that kind of car. Like those are indefensible actions, at least under the law. So I don't understand how you think that this is so complex. And just briefly, there are different states and different jurisdictions where juries have different standards. I believe, like for example, in Louisiana, I'm pretty sure that it's like a 10 to 2 to get a conviction. But
Okay,
that's sort of
I'm a little confused. Stop just a second. You don't understand how it's so complex. Are you talking to me or are you talking to Kitover? Who do you think is
no,
making
I'm
it
talking to
complex?
Steve.
Steve, okay, go ahead.
Yeah,
So
could I ask just a question though? Now,
You engage in a dialogue.
yeah, and you articulate to me the law as it's written that she was charged with, or the procedure that may be in place in the Texas House that was invoked. I know neither of those. So in order for me to draw a conclusion about whether this was appropriate or not, I would have to actually know the law. And then my question to you would be, do you know the law, and was the law as it was charged misused?
No, what happened was they freestyled about law enforcement, right? So law enforcement is very prescriptive, right? We don't leave, especially when it comes to crime. It's not like a lot of gray area. Like there might be a lot of gray area in copyright law or IP law or whatever. Like, but you don't have a lot of gray area when it comes to criminal law. She had every right to walk out of the Capitol as a person, and she wasn't allowed to do that until she signed a permission slip. There was no law that was being invoked that had that prescribed within it. And it's not the person who's being detained to answer that question, which is part of what's wrong with your approach right now. Is it wasn't for her to tell the bailiff or whoever it was that operates in the Texas government and said, you're not allowed to leave right now. We're not going to let you leave. To tell for her to convince them that she was somehow innocent of something. It's like you have to tell a person that you're detaining why you're detaining them within a certain prescribed amount of time and based on a certain prescribed number of reasons.
24 to 48 hours, they have to be told what they're being charged with, or they must be given.
I didn't say charged, I said detained. It's not the same thing. You do not have 24 hours to tell someone why you're detaining them.
In the state of Texas, you have 24 to 48 hours of detainment. After that, they must be charged. If not, they must be released.
You're literally saying stuff that doesn't make any sense. I'm not talking about charging.
You're saying stuff.
I'm not talking about charging. I'm talking about detaining. That's what I'm saying. Oh my God. You're trying to the fundamental point, which is you have to justify detaining somebody. I agree with you that you have to charge someone with any certain amount of time to be able to continue detaining them. That's not even the question. The question is, it's like if I get pulled over by an officer, okay, and they're like, sir, you're gonna have to come with us downtown. They need to tell me why.
house floor, and she was accosted trying to leave the house floor and detained us because I'm fuzzy on the facts of what happened here. This is the first time I've ever heard it. Is that what you're saying?
She was not allowed to leave. I mean, accosted is a charged word. So let's try to stay away from the emotional language. Just say she was detained. She wanted to go. They said you can't leave until you sign this, essentially this contract that says that you're going to have a police escort for whatever period of time. I guess for as long as the special session is open, is my guess. But I'm not actually the detail. And she said, I'm not going to sign it. They said, well, you're not leaving the Capitol until you sign it.
And as a matter of principle, Steve, let's just not argue about specific details. As a matter of principle, do you think it is right?
No, let's not even go there yet. Can we go there second, please?
Okay, sure.
But let's just stick to, do you agree that to detain someone in that manner requires a legal justification? Let's just start there.
Well, now, I think that isn't this all tied up with the Democratic caucus breaking quorum and pleading to other states? Isn't that what precipitated this?
That is definitely implicated, but that's not really the question that I'm asking.
Okay.
So if they had said, this is why we're detaining you, and that this is the law that you're breaking, assuming that they had some law that they could complain about, then sure. But that's not what actually happened here. There's some other standard that was created on the fly.
Well, I don't know about legislative matters and the specific application.
I think not even important. The question is, if she's
I'm going to get to something here. I used to hold that Tier 1 hazmat classification, which meant that I'd been trained and certified to deal with hazmat situations up until January. Well, no, and here's the thing. If I went to a site and they realized I had a hazmat Tier 1 certification and I tried to leave, I could be detained and arrested by the police. Now, does that apply to legislative matters? I don't know. But I do know in my case that they didn't have to have a charge. If they realized I had that certification and there was an emergency going on and I tried to leave the situation with that certification, I could be detained and arrested for not applying my skills in that situation.
So, Steve, your point, if I understand it, your point is it should be okay for the Speaker of the House and the Governor of Texas to detain someone because their presence is necessary for a quorum, regardless of what their vote is. Is that your point?
Well, it could be depending on what the agreed standard is in the state of Texas. I've seen this, like if you're a firefighter and someone's injured and you try and walk away without rendering assistance, you can be charged.
Well, then I'll just add, in the U.S. House, in the federal House, you could actually arrest a representative to make a quorum. So it may well be Texas law.
Yeah, and if it is, and each legislative body has, just like where I'm a city councilman, we have our own standards and policies, and we have police there at our council meetings, and there are things that will get you arrested.
Okay. Steve, thank you for cooperating in this discussion. I know it gets emotional for you. Your Honor, I hope that you feel that we heard you. I think we probably carried this one as far as
Just completely dodged it. He's saying that in other situations there's laws that apply. Which is okay, yes, we all agree that laws exist. And that where they exist, they can be applied.
That's his theory.
But that's not the question. The question is in this case, there was a law that was applied, and she was detained in a fashion that is inappropriate, and he's not addressing any of the details of this particular situation, which is obviously, dodging the question. And if I murder someone, I can be detained. Yeah, of course.
I think this
law exists. I agree.
why in the House of Representatives for the United
sure within each chamber what the procedures and what the enforcement of those procedures are. I know a lot of these legislative bodies have sergeant at arms, and they can be invoked. Now, I just don't know, and I don't know the particulars, so I'm not going to doubt it.
And so I would love to give you a chance to jump in on this. Let's try to get away from this because we're not going to do it.
Well, I'm in my day, I'm going to start with a simple question.
I'm sorry. Jay has been waiting for a long time. I think he has to say something. Jay, if you want now.
Go ahead, Jay. I'll give Anson a chance. Go ahead, Jay.
I want to say three things. Number one, in regards to taking arrest and charge, police officers do not legally have to tell you why they are detained. It's just common knowledge and practice. They should tell you why they are detained always, but legally they do not have to. That's just number one. Number two, depending on the state you're in, they have between 24 to 72 hours to charge you or they must release you. If they do not, they have to place charges. Number three, in the state of Texas, and this is the entire controversy of this bullshit that's going on right now, they have something that's called call to the house, where all house members must be present. Now, they do have law-breaking rules in the state of Texas, but the Supreme Court in the state of Texas ruled that the call to house just calls individuals, just as makes individuals show up. It can also allow for the Texas State House to send out police officers to arrest you as they have to show up because you were not excused by the sergeant at arms at the time. But if you weren't excused, at least that's what the court is trying to make you do your ass, then you can be arrested. That's what they're trying to do here. Is this legal? By the courts, this should have never been done before the state of Texas. No. That's why this is so as it is right now. Because Texas is no, at least their state legislature is no for bringing on to have bullshit legislation go through. They did it in 2021, they did it in 2022, they did it in 2019, they did it in 2020, and they did it back in 2016. I mean, this is never broken form, but the fact that they are sending out or at least trying to get new rulings to in order to enforce form, that is a little scary. That's all.
Okay, so Jay, I just want to get you on record for two things, just because it gets very confusing. Number one, do you think someone with 34 felonies should ever be president of the United States again?
No,
That's such a bitch.
Good. And number two, do you think that this is right for this woman to have to sign a monitoring deal with police to be able to have her free?
no, and that also wasn't in the court documents approved by the Texas State Supreme Court, so she should be released if they've already completed their business.
Thank you. Anson, go ahead.
Is it against the law? I'm not talking about rules or tradition or even moral action. Is it against the law to break a quorum, leave the state and break a quorum?
So no, leaving the state is not a violation of the law. But if the governor and
Okay, all right. The point is now, though, that's the thing. Like,
Marshall gets mighty immediately.
Okay, well, let's let Anson make his points and then let Marshall make his report. Go ahead, Anson.
It is not against the law to purposely break the law and even leave the state in order to achieve that goal. It's not against the law. Therefore, she cannot be arrested as a lawbreaker for taking that action, correct?
Correct.
Okay. Is it against the law for the state police to follow someone, not because they are suspected of about to be breaking the law, but to follow someone because they are about to disrupt some kind of political process? Can the state police legally follow someone under those kinds of circumstances?
That's not the question. The question is, well, that's your question. But what I want to, I understand that's your question. But the point is, she was being asked to sign a document giving them permission to do it.
Okay. and she refused to do it. That's not breaking the law, right?
I think she's being
Very clear.
We're forgetting something. Wait a minute.
We're forgetting what the Texas Supreme Court ruled, y'all. That's the point of the conversation that you're forgetting about here. And that's something that isn't usually talked about either in this whole conversation.
We'll get to that.
In the Texas State House, they have something called call to house, where all state representatives must be present unless you are excused, or they are supposed to be. The Texas State Supreme Court ruled that just as it requires individuals to come here, it also will now allow for individuals to be arrested and or detained if they do not appear to do their duties. That is what the Texas Court ruled. And I guess that, yes.
Hold on. What was their rationale? I get the
To call the house.
Typical
Call
Marshall
the
response.
house.
What was their
That was the
rationale?
rationale.
What was their
I don't know
rationale?
what you're
He
saying.
just gave you the rationale, Marshall.
Stop.
You just didn't listen to it.
We're talking about this and we're talking about Texas state law. I'd like you to point me in a direction instead of saying just Google. I'm driving, so I can't do it anyway. Like, you made an academic claim. You need to be able to back that up. Like, you need to be able to quote.
Absolutely, Marshall. Absolutely, Marshall. So, you understand call of house in the state of Texas, correct? You understand how that works, right, Marshall? Okay, so this, I'm just going to explain to you about it. Call of house in the state of Texas requires all members to stay within chambers unless excused. Any members who are not present can be sent for and arrested whenever they may be found by the sergeant at arms according to the House. Now, according to the Texas State Supreme Court, it ruled that it further affirmed the saying that just as members are to stay in the House, if they are not excused, if they do not appear, then they can legally be found as breaking Texas state law or breaking House policy and can also be arrested. That was what was ruled by the Texas State Supreme Court. Do I agree with it? No. I'm going to put the ruling in the chat for you all to understand. Everybody disagrees with this, with what I'm saying. I disagree with the bullshit as well. I don't like it. But they can do inside of the Texas House until the official business has been completed, which it has been, so she shouldn't be held. And I said that part as well.
Okay.
The problem that you're missing, the thing that you're missing,
Well, no. Stop. Anson, I want you to be able to finish your points.
Okay, so it is, according to a Supreme Court ruling, if she fails to respond to a call, or after the call, she leaves the chamber, she leaves the House, then according to the state Supreme Court ruling, she can be arrested. Yes? Does everybody agree with that? Whether it's right or wrong, does everybody agree that she is subject to arrest based upon a state Supreme Court ruling that if she does not respond to a call to the House or leaves the House without permission after that call to the House, she can be arrested? Is that
Okay,
correct?
until otherwise proven, let's assume that's
yes,
true.
that's right.
Okay, all right. If that is right, now the question becomes, is it legal for the state troopers to follow that person, that representative, because they suspect she may be about to break the Supreme Court ruling requirement? Is it legal for them to follow her?
Anson, apparently that may or may not be, I think it's legal, but she is being asked for her permission.
No, she has to commit the act first.
Yeah, exactly. That's not a thing that
What are you
exists.
talking about?
No, I'm not talking whether it's moral, whether it's right or wrong. I'm trying to
It's
understand.
a constitution. You can't search or seize. It can't be quartered in her house. Same constitution you and I made the pledge to. In the Bill of Rights, we do not grant all of our personal freedoms to be followed and harassed by the police.
I didn't say harass. I didn't say harass, Your Honor. I said follow. Is it legal
Yeah,
for
so
the
that's
state
someone
to
else.
Is
That
it
wasn't me.
legal?
That wasn't your honor, just for the record. That was someone else. But that was David.
Is it legal for the state police to follow that representative?
Potentially. potentially, right? So if they have reason to believe that someone is going to commit a crime, just like anything else, right? Like if they think I may commit a murder, they can surveil me to see what's going on, right? Or if they have some cause, they can follow that cause to a logical conclusion. But that's not actually the question here, because what actually happened is that they wanted to force these legislators, in fact, did force many legislators to sign what they're calling a permission slip, which actually forces them to sign on to being tailed, which is essentially thought crime. Like they're saying, well, you're thinking about potentially not, basically you're thinking about denying quorum in the future. We want to make sure that there's a cop there so that when we issue a warrant for your arrest under the law, which does exist, which I agree does exist, that there's going to be a cop following you. They do not have to agree to that. Like, there's no basis for that, and that is the problem. Is forcing them to commit to that.
I think I agree with that. I agree with you, Your Honor. I think that it is not a violation of the law for her to refuse to sign that document. That's not a violation of any law. It's not a violation of any Supreme Court ruling. Therefore, there is no legal mechanism in place to require her to sign that pledge, that document. Right? Everybody agree with that?
We agree with that.
Okay, great. Then if they want to expend the resources and just follow her all over Texas or wherever she goes, that's not breaking the law. It seems like a stupid squandering of valuable law enforcement resources. But they can follow her, and if in fact there is a call or whatever the term is, if there's a fact to call, she knows about it, and she then refuses to go to the house as called. The state troopers can arrest her. Correct?
Thank you, Ensign. Yes, we understand that. We agree with that.
I rest my case, and I'll listen.
Thank you. Now, before anybody says, stop. Before anybody does anything else, I'll let you make your point afterwards. Marshall has a report for us. Marshall, you have the floor.
So I've not been able to get a hold of any Texas representatives.
What, he was gonna get a hold of somebody in like the past fucking 10 minutes? The
They're either
fuck?
in the middle of session or
This
they're
guy's
doing something.
retarded.
I'm getting voicemail messages. I imagine what's been going on.
He's getting voicemails. He's getting fucking constituents are calling Marshall.
What makes sense and what doesn't in this case? The questions I would have would be, what are the House parliamentary rules? What's the law that we're talking about? As Aaron cited, there was one. If they could allow the state government to do that. If I could wave a magic wand, I'm not going to have a bunch of state troopers follow people all over the place. It just it reeks of intimidation.
It does.
It reeks of intimidation. It may be legal, but it's certainly, to say the very least, is very short-sighted.
Yeah. Thank you, Marshall.
That's going to backfire.
This is the point I was trying to make with Steve, and I also didn't want to break it with Anson. At some point, this is a discussion about theory. We can argue about the details all day, and at some point the details matter. But in theory, I think we all agree that this is wrong. Now this popcorn is open. Someone wanted to say something?
Yeah, this is what happens when you break the rules, you break the laws, and you do whatever you want. There's repercussions for doing whatever you want to do.
Marshall, we change it from being wrong to being arbitrary. It's just arbitrary.
Marshall, I placed it in the chat for you from the Texas State Legislature in regards to the call to the Senate. But the only thing here, it's kind of like you said though, Marshall, the only thing here that's actually a little bit weird because you can't arrest and detain them to push them to show up to session. But it has never been used that you have to sign a permission slip to allow them to continue to follow you after the session. that is kind of a whole gray area here. That's why she's pressing charges.
I mean, if I were
That's the part that isn't actually a gray area. It is the extra legal part that I've been trying to point out from the beginning, and why I said you were wrong before. Is that part is the whole part that is the reason for her being detained, and that is not within the law. And that's the problem with what they're doing, is that that's not within the law. And that's where we should focus. And also, if you break the law, there can be repercussions. In this case, it's actually not against the law to deny quorum, but there can be a civil arrest warrant issued. If they had arrested her, they would have been well within their rights. But by the time that this is actually happening, she's in the Capitol and no longer denying quorum. So they can't actually do that to her anymore. Because at this point, she actually is no longer denying quorum.
Well, no, that doesn't matter. But when you, and I put it in the chat as well, the Texas State Legislature glossary. Once there is a call to house, and this is in almost every state. This isn't just Texas, by the way. Once there is a call to house, you have to get permission to leave by the sergeant at arms. You have to be told that you are now allowed to leave by the sergeant at arms. That is the one. That's kind of what's confusing a lot of people here. She hasn't been given permission to leave by the sergeant at arms. But please hold on. Please hold on.
You interrupted me.
I literally did the chat for you, man.
Interrupted me, and now you're telling me not to interrupt the guy.
You're right. You know what? You're right. I'm going to go ahead and put in the chat for you again. I'm going to go ahead and put it in the chat for you again. Because me and you, we agree that it's total bullshit. But from a legal standpoint here,
yeah, but you're missing.
They are following the Texas State
Legislature. That's all that matters. You're making other points that aren't actually relevant to the point that I'm making. We agree that there's a law. We agree on that.
You're not catching the nuance. Your Honor is putting a nuance.
Let's let your Honor is recognized.
Thank you. The thing that you're missing is that the fundamental thing that matters here is they're forcing her to sign a permission slip. That exact moment is not in law, and that is the problem.
It has never been done before, which is why I called it a gray area here. That's why I said she filed charges. Hold on. That does make it a gray area. What are you saying?
Jay, you're recognized. Wasn't it Jay that was talking?
Yes, and that's why I said this is what makes it a gray area here. It has never been before. Once there's a call to house, as I've stated, and it's in the chat as well, from the Texas State Legislature in and of itself, to describe their rules and policies for call to house. I'm sorry, for call of the house. Maybe I can put it in the chat for you, so I don't know why you're trying to argue this point with me. You have to receive permission to leave. Never in the state of Texas before, for you to be granted to leave, has anyone ever tried to say you have to sign this permission slip in order for me to grant you the right to leave, which is why I keep saying it's a gray area right now until the Texas State Supreme Court goes back and says, yeah, no, this isn't okay, or yeah, no, he's allowed to do this because he did this action for the Texas State Legislature. That, to me, is a little gray area to throw.
Okay, Your Honor, do you feel, wait. Your Honor, do you feel that we've heard you? Jay, do you feel that we've heard you?
Alright, so the thing that isn't gray area about those things is what I find very, very frustrating in what he's saying. It's like if I decide to do a citizen's arrest against Marshall, and I say to him, hey, you've broken a law, I'm exercising my rights to arrest you, and I'm just going to detain you at my house. That's not gray area, that's kidnapping. Like you don't get to do something that isn't allowable under law and then call it gray area because you feel like it. If the law enforcement mechanism isn't in the law, you don't get to exercise.
Well, you detain them until the police arrive. It's not like your Friday night date life, Your Honor.
Hold on. I think there is really something to be said. And Aaron, I want to.
It's not like your Friday night date
life.
life.
Just would allow me. Your knowledge of parliamentary procedure and like
This isn't about
Your Honor.
Marshall is recognized. Texas law. Marshall is recognized.
No. What I meant.
I don't know what's going on here. I've been talked over by 3 people and now I get unrecognized.
You can finish.
So sad.
Okay, let me just say this very succinctly. Oh, the criminal law has, in the U.S. system, is very defined and prescriptive. that's a good thing, right? We don't want people freestyling when it comes to the opportunity to exercise state violence or to detain people, or simply just in following the law, like according to good law enforcement, right? And just maintaining the law and order of the peace and so on and so forth. We want it to be prescriptive and specific. That is a good thing. Where powers are not prescribed to law enforcement, they do not have those powers. That's how our law works. They do not have the right to force a vehicle to sign permission slips. That is not in the law. And that's not gray area, because the law doesn't say it, so it's not there.
Yeah, we all know that permission slip is optional.
Wait, Your Honor, it is said that this is not gray area, and it is not legal. Do I understand you?
The permission slip part, detainees on permission slips.
That's not
We're not in the law. It's an invest extra legal.
Yes,
It's not illegal.
do you feel that we've heard your point?
Yes, thank you.
Excellent. Marshal?
When I was mentioning bylaws, what I was meaning was the Sergeant of the Texas House is an enforcement wing of the DPS. At least as I understand the Texas Constitution. And so for my party kind of like put this together, because I would agree, I tend to agree with you. If it's not written, it's not there. The argument you should have to sign a permission slip. Frank was my notes, said at the very least. I'm curious when the House Sergeant at Arms is able to alter, and so that's why I said bylaws, because Sergeant at Arms operates, at least as I understand it, and I could be totally wrong, but operates as a voluntary, more like they're together. And so I was curious about like the internal procedure of the Texas House, if it would do this stuff and then allow enforcement. So I understand the part of the law, and I didn't intend to complain about the law itself, but here's the main shame of the work.
You're a reporter. That's signed yet. The Sergeant at Arms knows that it's I'm sorry, the Speaker of the House.
Yes. Let's let candidate who's been very patient, and I appreciate him following your rules.
Yeah, I think we've heard Your Honor repeat himself about 3 to 5 times now. It's up to this young woman if she wants to sign the slip or not. But if they imprisoned her in a library and said you can't leave unless you sign, well, you know what? She fell for the mousetrap, and you can't just, obstruct the law and do whatever you want to do. You have to obey decorum and the rules. So this is just another perfect example of people who feel like they don't have to obey rules or laws, and it's their silent protest. But she doesn't have to sign that piece of paper, and she doesn't have to leave. She could just sit there in the library, use the bathroom, and just live there. If she really wants to protest, she could do it. But you guys are wasting a whole lot of time talking about nothing. That's my opinion.
Well, you've chosen to stay here, and I appreciate that you expressed your opinion. I'm not sure I understand it. I think what you're saying is that you think that she has disobeyed the law by not staying for the quorum, and it's okay with you, and I'm putting words in your mouth intentionally, it's okay with you that the Texas House wants to monitor her and not ask for her permission to be monitored. That's okay with you. Do I understand your
she
point?
can protest all she wants, but she's going to reap the repercussions of her protest. That's fine. Go for it. Do it. Be a protester.
Okay. Thank you. I hope you feel that you've been heard. All right. We've had a long dialogue on this. Does anybody want to throw in? At this point, you're welcome. Yassi, your mic is covered. Yassi, get your hand off your mic.
Tucker came to the room. He didn't on stage. He didn't say anything. I don't know if he wants. And one thing that is mentioned in the chat, I think it's good to remember, to say it out loud, is that she's not just a woman. She is an elected representative.
That's correct.
Yeah, see, he spoke earlier. I don't think you were here yet when
Tucker, go ahead. Yassi's concerned that you feel hurt. Do you feel hurt?
I do, and apparently it either makes you laugh or cry, depending on your perspective.
Okay, it's important to me that people feel heard. Not necessarily that we agree, but that we feel heard. And the other thing that's terribly important to me is we find what common ground we can. There isn't a lot of it, but there is some. And I think when we find that common ground, at least we can work towards something. So thank you. Yasi makes a really outstanding point that it's not the woman. She is an elected representative equal to any man. Does anybody want to argue that? Thank you.
Yossi did it. Sorry, Yossi did it. It was from the chat. Dennis, I think, said it first. So, yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Alan, can you remind everybody how many felonies Donald Trump is guilty of, please?
34.
34 felonies. So why doesn't the Congress just lock Donald Trump in the White House, and hold him, hostage and arrest him, because he's been convicted of 34 felonies, Alan?
I love that idea, John. Are you serious?
Yeah, 100%. Why don't we just not let Donald Trump leave the White House? Because he's guilty of 34 felonies. Duh, he's a felon. He's guilty of 34 felonies, and he's just roaming the land, doing whatever he wants, posting whatever he wants. I mean, come on, Alan, why can't Congress arrest him? 34 felonies.
Yeah,
This is the most succession argument ever. This is the guy who was just saying that people should be arrested and detained about crimes because FAFO or something. But now when it comes to Donald Trump, he's essentially arguing the opposite. Like, you can't make this up, man. Like, it's just wild how MAGA logic works.
MAGA logic?
MAGA logic is wild, but if he wants to make the point that Donald Trump should be a Republican wants to make the point that Donald Trump should be arrested, I will go with that. I can support that. The question, of course, is will he stick to it? But we don't know that true or false. So let's.
I mean, he'd have to be impeached first, Alan. I'm just saying, if we give him a notice and we say, we know you're guilty of 34 felonies, therefore we can't let you be the president anymore. I mean, why can't Congress just arrest or detain Donald Trump, Alan?
So you would be in favor of impeaching Donald Trump?
Now, John. Sorry, Al.
So you have it. Jane has the floor.
With love, kick out, John. This is getting dumb.
Go ahead, Jane. I'm sorry.
She said it's dumb, and
I said with love to John.
I just want to say, Alan, I feel like I've been heard. I feel like I've been heard, Alan. Thank you.
Okay. Dismal, you have been invited to the stage. Sue, Sue, you're here. Do you have anything you want us to throw in?
I don't see Sue on the stage.
You have the floor, Dismal.
But I see Denise, and Denise was in the room before me, so perhaps she has more to offer first.
You make your point, and then I'll recognize Denise.
Okay, I think you should potentially remove John. If possible, he is trolling. He doesn't have much to offer in terms of actual information or substance. So what I would just say is what we're constantly pushing democratic values to the point where it's exhausting. We're literally denigrating certain things, and now we're thinking, oh, it's normal. It's just normal. It's just everyday. Checkpoints in DC were not a thing under Biden or his predecessor or Bush, and this isn't normal. The crime rate in DC has gone down, yet we're pushing more people to more National Guards from areas of predominantly white areas where they're not going to be familiar with DC culture, and we're arming them with weapons, which is intimidating.
He moved me. Whoa, they deleted my Clubhouse. My Clubhouse account got deleted. Oh my God. On the spot deleted. I wonder why. What did I say? Okay, this has been Trump derangement syndrome. Unbelievable, but they just wiped out my Clubhouse account. We're probably going to have to go back to just recording Clubhouse. Anyways, this has been a Trump derangement syndrome Democrat liberal therapy session. This is Rep. Candidate Congressman John Kitover in the 16th District of Illinois. Go to johnforcongress.com. Cannot believe they just deleted that shit. Holy shit. On the spot compilation. Damn. Oh man, that's too bad. Okay, well, that's the show then. I guess we'll see if we can just jump into an X account. Because I actually don't have any more Clubhouse accounts. Dr. Adams. I think Dr. Adams got me reported. We'll see. My account was suspended. All my accounts are suspended. All my Clubhouse accounts have been suspended. We've been suspended from Clubhouse across all of our accounts, I think. So that means I'm gonna get a new account and just go incognito, anonymous. Thank you, Clubhouse.
So what does that do? Well, it gets them in a frame where all they care about are the men with the money and the materialism and the big meal in front of them, and to just try and get another rush of dopamine. Well, then what are people going to turn to? Mindless entertainment, video games, drugs, alcohol, SSRIs, pornography, strip clubs. I mean, we can see it. This goes to Gotham. And the people that stand up and want to suggest that this is, again, that this is detrimental to our society, well, who are they critiqued by? It's the people that have all the money that are propped up by the system that say, oh, well, you're just upset because you didn't get your bag. No. I don't care about the money. I'm fine in that regard. What I'm not fine with is that everything around me is turning to decay under this system. I want people to be happy. I want women to aspire to be loving mothers. If they want to go into the workforce because they feel like that'll bring them some kind of, sincere joy in their life, well, then fine. But let it be a choice. Don't propagandize that they have to do it or they're lesser than. Don't propagandize that twerking on a stage is more valuable to society than a loving mother raising her children to be productive members of tomorrow. Like, that's ludicrous. But this is what we get when we live in a system where everything is controlled by those that push this degeneracy because it's all that they know. And so you get to the end of it and it's like, well, what do we live under? It feels like it's the synagogue of you-know-what, because it feels like every power structure isn't just taking all of the money, all of the resources, and pushing out nothing but genocide. It also feels like they're desperate to normalize their perverse worldview on everyone. And you know who would do that? An insecure freaking narcissist. Because at the end of the day, they look out at the world from their penthouses and they see happy families that are still out there in spite of all of the propaganda. And they know deep down in their heart that they are miserable, which is why they take more, which is why Jeff Bezos isn't comfortable with $100 billion. It has to be $1 trillion. While his employees are literally bankrupt. While 40 or 30% of his Amazon employees live off government subsidies because they don't make a living.
But the stock is at an all-time high!
The stock's at an all-time high for who? Who owns the stock?
For the shareholders!
30% of his Amazon employees live off government subsidies because they don't make a living.
But the stock is at an all-time high!
The stock's at an all-time high for who? Who owns the stock? And in all sincerity, who owns the stock? Who owns 50 to 60 to 70% of all stock? Is it your average American? Is it your working class? No. They have nothing. And so if I am Jeff Bezos, I am miserable. You know why? Because he has a miserable frame. He has no compass. He's lost. He could turn around. I did the math once, and then I'll end on this time. I did the math once, and I recommend everybody go and do this. Take the net worth of Jeff Bezos. Go and look it up. Take the number. Then plug it in and say, hey, based on this, if you were to invest 90% of it conservatively, what's the return on the investment that he's going to make? Now,
Okay, I'm going to end this live stream, and we're going to get our new Clubhouse incognito set up and redirect the cameras back into Clubhouse. Hope you enjoy it.
Interest on his net worth and return it to the people that were actually making his company function. It would be life-changing for those people. His employees are literally bankrupt. And 40 or 30% of his Amazon. And 40.
Hi, this is Scott. I can't take your call right now, but if you leave your name and number, I'll endeavor to get back to you. And my
Yo. Hey, what up? How you doing?
Yo, you doing your streaming?
Yeah, I'm live right now. They just kicked me off of Clubhouse. They just deleted all my accounts.
Oh shit. Well, what does that mean exactly to you?
They just deleted my Clubhouse accounts, you know.
I mean, why would they do that?
because people
what's the objective there?
People complained about me, and my campaign for Congress. So this is what's happening. People are upset that I'm running for Congress.
I don't think it's Congress, man. I think you got some crazy ass shit on there, honestly. Like all your images and your videos, just like crazy as shit, bro.
They're not. These are just normal videos. I don't know. They're political videos. I'm running for Congress. So how's Ken doing?
Ken is fucking pussy chickening out, trying to end before he's expired,
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to convince him otherwise, but it's funny. I don't know. I don't understand how people just go, "Hey, I'm done here. I'm gonna check out." It's like shit. You got kids. You got grandkids. He's just not gonna meet any of them. He's just gonna go and like, I don't know. He's been sitting in bed for like a year now, and he's lost 40% of his body mass. So like, I don't know if it's 40%. It's probably less than 40%, but like, he's lost at least 40 pounds or something.
Yeah, well, this is what life is like. People pick and choose the end of their time, and unfortunately, some people's clocks, it's just unfortunate, but that's life and death,
Yeah, I just don't get it, man. He's got kids, people in his life that still care about him, and he's just. I would not be spending that shit in a hospital bed. I mean, his kids are well off. It's not like his kids aren't, and he is. I have no idea what his financial situation is. I'm assuming not as well off since he was spending the rest of his days in the pavilion. But still, it's like, you got kids to take care of you. You're well off. Just go.
Well,
get like a housemaid or something.
Yeah, but some people, they don't want to be a burden to other people, and they feel like they ran their time. I mean, it's too bad that the whole thing is energy and the spirit. His energy is severely diminished, so it's upsetting to see him in that condition. But he, a lot of people don't have that energy anymore or that spark when their clock is winding down. So, anyways, well, I was just calling to say hello. I have to go up to Rockford and start getting signatures on petitions. So I was wondering if you want to take a road trip to Rockford on a Friday.
Oh my God, Rockford, Illinois. I totally would. I know somebody out there, but he just recently blocked me on Facebook. So that's pretty funny. No, I mean, I've got no reason to go out there.
I'm asking you. I need petitions. Yeah, I have to get petitions signed. I need 700 signatures.
Oh, shit. Yeah, that's a lot of petition, man. What's the petition for?
Congress.
Oh, you got a petition to get into Congress?
Yeah, dude, you got to get on the ballot so I can defeat the incumbent Darren LaHood.
Man, what the fudge is up with that?
Yeah, how do you think you get on ballots? You think you know shit about politics? You didn't realize you got to get signatures to get on a ballot to be involved in politics? What the fuck?
I mean, while you're running, I realize there's like a threshold, but not just like signing up. I figured, if you're a U.S. citizen, you just...
No. Listen, one way you could help me is if I could digitize the signature through DocuSign, and we got a list, we could call people in Rockford and Peoria, or even go on white pages and send people a DocuSign to sign. And we wouldn't even have to drive out there. We could just call people.
Shit, bro. Yeah, that seems like work I don't want to do.
I'll pay you to do it, and then you can donate the money to a charity. The campaign has raised money. We've raised $1,000, so we have money to spend. I mean, if you want to go to Rockford, we can drive to Rockford. I'll pay for the hotel. We'll stay one night, Friday night, and we'll gather signatures all day Friday, all day Saturday. And we'll drive back Saturday.
Why can't you gather them here in Chicago? Chicago's much bigger. You can hit up more places.
because it has. You don't understand. It has to be registered voters in the district. It's 16th. It's 16th district. It's Rockford, Peoria, Bloomington, Normal, Atkins, Illinois, other small towns. It's all up and down the center of the state. But I'm going against Darren LaHood. He's got $12 million in the bank. We got $1,000. So I need grassroots supporters like you, who create protest apps. Like you're my guy. I mean,
oh, brother, you don't know me because I am so anti-fucking social that I feel awkward just being out there with a sign. Like I'm just not the person for signatures. I can't talk to
you're exactly
people,
the guy. Trust me, people like you. People trust you. They feel safe around you. People want to sign your petition.
People look at my face and they're like, "Oh, I'm talking to the complete idiot," and I'm like, "Yes, you are. Yes, you are." So
No, they know you're harmless and they want to know what you're petitioning. So I need your help. But just think about it, and I'll talk to you later this week.
All right, that sounds good. All right. Okay, I'll talk to you later then.
Okay, take your time. Bye.
Yeah.
Please leave your message for
Hi. El Normo, how are you doing? It's John.
I'm great, man. How are you?
I'm good. My Clubhouse days are over. They deleted all of my accounts. They nuked me.
Wow.
I think it was the last room I was in. I kept asking the moderator, how many felonies does Trump have and should Congress arrest and charge Trump with impeachment? So those were my last statements. And then surprisingly, I think it was Aram or Your Honor or the redheaded female, Dismal or whatever. Yeah, Dismal is her name. So anyways, they nuked my accounts. I can get a new one.
How could they do that?
Because people probably just complained, and somebody sitting there at work right now in the Philippines got the complaint, was like, okay, delete.
You have so many accounts, they couldn't possibly get all of them, could they?
I think they may have, because I just checked others and those were deleted too. So they may have, whoever reported me may have included all of my handles. Who knows? But anyways, it was a good last day.
How could they find them all? Don't you have like 15 or something?
No, I think I had 3 or 4. I'd have to. There's 2 other phones that I haven't checked yet that I think might have Clubhouse on it, but we'll see. Anyways, I was just calling to say hello. I had a fun past 48 hours on Clubhouse. What are you doing?
Sitting here eating a bagel with cream cheese and talking about Israel. Manish Tana Halayla Hazeh.
Would you get an everything bagel?
I did.
Nice.
It was hot, so I was asked for what's hot.
I was in Larry King's bagel shop in Beverly Hills once, and Larry came in. I was like, Larry, God bless you. We love you, Larry. He was like,
wonderful.
Thank you. Walked out with a huge bag of bagels.
He's fun to make fun of too. I didn't know he had a bagel shop, but that's great.
Yeah, it was called like Brooklyn Bagel Company. Their specialty was it's all made with
Brooklyn water.
Yeah, Brooklyn water, something like that.
Yeah, they tried it out in tanks or something.
I highly doubt it, but I don't know. Maybe it's real. It sounds weird that they would use Brooklyn water just to make their bagels.
It's a thing. They have it in other places too, like Florida. But take a breath. Probably you'll find your way back. But I'm glad you told me. And people are asking about you as a congressional candidate.
Yeah, I've done a lot of research on Grok, a lot of queries, a lot of math, and the numbers don't look good. Scott Besson says we're bringing in $800 million a day in tariffs, but we're spending $20 billion a day. So if you look at the numbers, it's like it doesn't change anything. It's like 1/100th of a % change in terms of the deficit spending. So Anyways, all right. Well, I hope you have a great day, and I probably am going to create a new account, but this one is just going to be anonymous, and I'm going to go back to just recording Clubhouse and not talking. But you know, that's
Well,
my
keep in
plan.
touch with me via text and tell me what's up, and if you see or think or hear anything, let me know.
I will, and I put you in my Clubhouse group chat, so that's usually the catch-all that I'm gonna message. I might not message you individually, but if you are in that group chat, you'll see all my Clubhouse recordings. So
that's on which platform?
it's on text message. I think I added you to the group, but if not, I'll next couple times I'll message you directly then.
Very good. Be well.
Okay, you too. Have a great day.
All right.
Okay, bye. That's my Mossad handler, Eldorma. Had to check in with my my Mossad handler for the day. Oh, you're still here? The show's over. Go home. Go home. The show's over. That's some Ferris Bueller's now. Yeah. They nuked me. They nuked all my accounts.
What?
Yeah, they deleted all my Clubhouse accounts.
Oh shit.
So I'm gonna create a new anonymous and just go back to recording it instead of talking.
Okay.
Anyways, that was the update.
That fucking sucks.
Yeah, but you know what? This is one of those things where it's like a big deal. I just data mined the shit out of it for like 3 months straight. You created thousands of videos, so this is the cost of doing business.
Yep. But yeah, I'll be back on after midnight. I got my phone set to 7.5 hours maximum. It's the amount of time that I can spend on Clubhouse. So I got my junk Kitover on Clubhouse 24.
Only 50 hours. Yeah, you only get 50 hours a week. You limit yourself. Good job.
Yeah. Yeah, it's still crazy though. How many hours it's been.
I'm about to create a new burner number so I can create a new Clubhouse.
Have you seen Mojo back yet or no? They keep saying he's on vacation, but it shows his account's deleted. So how the hell?
Oh, maybe they deleted him because he probably well, I don't know if he submitted. He may have submitted his own complaint.
Yeah.
Anyways, it doesn't matter because you can just create a new account immediately. So it's such a waste of time.
I know. He must have pissed the ear off, or Brad or somebody.
No, I think it was Dismal and Your Honor, aka.
What's Your Honor?
It's Aram.
Oh, I don't know that person.
Oh, you don't know that?
I know Dismal's Victoria. She's a super cunt.
Yeah, she's a stupid ass. Stupid ass. Stupid ass.
Alright, mate.
Okay, take care. Have a good day. Talk to you soon. Bye.
Okay, everybody, go to johnforcongress.com.